Live on the Daddykirbs farm, looking good. Not me, you guys, I can tell you look good. We are here this morning with some special guests. We have our moderator and friend here on the end, Kate. And Doug is our special guest this morning. Doug is a friend of mine, a local friend who does a lot of really cool stuff. We're going to get into some of the things that he does, the projects and health things that he does and shares, some of it online, but a lot of it he just does at home with his family. So we're going to tap into his brain a little bit this morning and see what he knows, and we're just going to have a great time hanging out. This is a live show. This is the Daddykirbs Saturday morning live show. The purpose of the show is to share in community, to build community. There's going to be a lot of times when I'm kind of scrolling through and looking at chat. Hopefully I can do that this morning and then just do it while Doug's talking so he can have the focus. But I'm so glad that you're here with us this morning. If you're watching this in replay, thank you for joining me in replay. I love to read your comments later. All the comments that happen live, don't stay for when it's in replay. So if you're here in replay, I will see your comments. They're there forever. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to scroll through real quick and see who's here already this morning. Let me clear my desk a little bit.
We've had a lot of folks say good morning already.
I'm going to shift the camera just a little bit to put Doug a little more in focus. Sorry about that. All right.
You don't want to probably focus too much.
Yeah.
You don't want the details.
It's all on you. It's all on you, Doug. All right. This morning, let's see. I will answer some of the questions, especially about Luke. A lot of you guys know that Luke spent some time in the hospital this week, so I'm going to answer those questions. But I'd like to scroll through. Every time I do this, I like to adjust my chair. Every time I do this, I like to just see who's in the room, see who I'm talking to. We had a little bit of discussion in some of the groups I'm on, Facebook, the family group, and some of the other YouTube groups I'm in, about talking to a camera. Because right now, it's the three of us in a living room with a camera. And for some people, that is very intimidating because it feels like you're just talking to an inanimate object. But the reason I like to scroll through and see who's in the room is because I talk through the camera to you guys. And that's just a little tip. If you are ever going to do shows, sharing your content, you have to learn to talk through the device to people. So I'm going to look through the chat and see who's here. Scrolling through, long list. All right, there's 30 people here. Kate over here on moderation. Xavier, good morning, Xavier. It's good to see you. I know it's nighttime for you, but I'm glad that you stayed up long enough to join us. Liv, also in the evening in Norway. Good morning. We Tree Bonsai with her wrench. She's a moderator. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Let's see here. Scroll. You guys just have a nice conversation going. Øystein, also from Norway. Good morning. Good to see you. And Tambone. Hey, y'all. Paul Otis, good morning. Ronald with his wrench. Good morning. Sparkle and Shine.
Paul Otis is here.
Yeah, Paul Otis is here. Randy Leonard. Eric Johnson, good morning. Oh, wow, I'm going to miss some of you. Sherry Ambrose, Valeria. I'm missing. I pronounce names wrong all the time. My apologies. Verlinda. K. Agarwal. See, I get them wrong. Randy. Southern Dutchman, Sparkle and Shine. I said that one already. Sherry Sows, Mary M. Wow, good group. Good group. All right. Let's see. K. I'm going to say your name wrong. I apologize. K. Agarwal. You're my hero. Oh no, don't let me be your hero. Randomly saw your videos some days back and got so hooked I ended up seeing most of your videos in one night. That's a long night.
Binge watching.
Binge watching, that's right. I binge watch some of the shows like Stranger Things on Netflix. You guys, anyone binge on that? I love that show. It's my childhood. I grew up in Indiana at that same time frame, so it connects with me. Ronald starting the morning already with a super chat. Thank you so much. The super chats, by the way, if you don't know, is an option to donate to your favorite creators in live shows. That gives a little bit of donation to their channel so that they can continue their creative efforts. And it also gives you a chance to highlight a question. For example, this isn't a question, but Ronald said, looks like I am first this morning. So he highlighted his statement with the super chat. Thank you, Ronald, so much for starting that and helping out the Daddykirbs farm. Love Stranger Things. Good morning, Mysterious. Sassafras Inspired. Okay, I can't keep reading names. You guys are filling up the room. It's going to look like I'm going to be here all morning reading names. So I want to get started right away this morning with some of the subjects after I give you an update on Luke. I almost forgot that. Just real quickly, we took Luke to the hospital on Thursday. He had been spending some time. He's been very, very sleepy, very cold, very shivery, and his heart rate has been very low. So we took him to the hospital and had the sonogram and chest x-ray and EKG and a number of things to help give a better picture of what's going on, possibly with his heart, if anything is going on with his heart. Turns out his heart looks great. So we don't know exactly what was going on, but he came home Thursday night, and we made sure he got lots of fluids, lots of calories, as much as we could get in him. And yesterday morning, he woke up in a good mood and ready to go. So we're very thankful for all your thoughts and prayers. That's the update on Luke. We do hope that we can continue keeping all of the calories. It's very difficult to feed Luke because he eats very small bites, very slowly. So it's a lot of effort for us to get our minimum that we shoot for every day is 1,500 calories, and that's very difficult to get. Some days we do a lot better than that. But so that's Luke. Let's get to some of the subjects that Doug has for us. I don't even know what they all are. This is going to be a bit of a surprise for me. And yeah, so let's just have some fun. I did see a super chat come in from Liv. Thank you so much. Liv and Ronald often battling for position with the super chats. Thank you so much. Okay, Doug.
Yes.
Give me a little bit about yourself. Share a little bit of background. No personal information. They might record that.
Okay.
And yeah, just share with us some of the things that you do.
All right. My name is Doug Bowd. Rhymes with loud. When you read it, you may not want to pronounce it that way, but that's how you say it.
I call you Doug Bode.
Do you really?
Yeah, when I read it, I say Bud. So now I say Bowd because I saw your video where you shared that.
Rhymed with loud, yes. Originally from Missouri, I grew up in the wooded farmlands of that state, organically grown there. Came into the world on a frigid January Sunday morning, so I love the winter. And so yeah, my roots are very organic. Most of what I ate growing up did not come from the store. So I learned how to hunt, harvest things from the wild, and fish as a little child. I didn't even have indoor plumbing for the first few years. So
wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of spiders that lives in outhouses, I learned. I'm 51. That's personal. I shared it. But I have kept and maintained my skills all this time, and I've learned a lot of new skills as well. And so out of those, I've acquired a lot of specific interests, one of them being hooch making or wine making. So I brought this for Daddykirbs today.
For me?
It's for you. It's pomegranate. I harvested these I was driving by a man's house. I saw he had a tree full of pomegranates. I stopped. He said, yeah, take all you want. So
wow,
I took
nice.
all I wanted and made some pomegranate hooch.
Very nice. Look at that.
So that's one of my interests. I've been doing this for about 6 years, fermenting different things into wine. And pretty much any sweet liquid you can come up with, add some yeast and it will turn into wine. I also brought you a jug of colloidal silver that I made this morning.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's. I can't tell you the exact parts per million because I don't have a way to measure that. I just know from my experience of if I do it for 20 minutes, it's about this strong.
Right.
So the reason it's wrapped in foil is because colloidal silver is very sensitive to sunlight. And if you think back to the old days when they used to take photographs on silver plates, what they did was expose colloidal silver on plates to light, and it would capture an image.
Oh, wow.
So if you ever expose a jar of colloidal silver to the sun the silver will fuse itself to the inside of the glass and make a mirror.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So that's why you have to keep it in something dark. So that's
Very
why
cool.
the foil.
I thought it just turned the container silverish.
Well, on the inside.
Just kidding, because of the foil.
Oh, no, I got you. I'm a little nervous still. So
That's okay.
I dug into my seed collection this morning and brought you some of the ones that I think are very special.
Uh-oh.
This is called Geet Okosomen.
Yeah, let's hold that up there.
Okay, it took me 3 years waiting for this to become available because it's an 800-year-old squash strain that a northern tribe of Indians maintained through all these generations.
Wow.
It grows 40-pound fruits. It is a hollow vine squash, so if you plant it, you're going to want to prepare yourself for the vine borers
Correct.
and
Yeah.
be prepared for that. Here are some seeds from a white Cinderella pumpkin that I got at a barter a few years ago, and I saved all the seeds. My wife, she thinks it's funny, really, but I cannot throw a seed away.
Yeah.
I have to keep them all just in case.
Just in case, exactly.
Because every seed is a life.
Yeah,
There's
it
so
is.
much potential in there,
Yep.
so I hang on to them.
A lot of times I give these lives to the chickens.
Well, that's just a way of converting it to another
That's
life,
right.
so that's
exactly.
okay.
Yep.
Here are some evening primrose seeds.
Oh, nice.
I grew evening primrose 3 years ago. Now, I don't know what the right word is. I think it's biennial, when a plant only produces seeds every other year.
I think you're right.
Biennial?
And if we're wrong, they will tell us.
Somebody will tell us.
Yes.
But the evening primrose, the first year, didn't produce any seeds. Then it came back the second year, and it did. So I collected some of them, and there they are. It has a medicinal purpose. I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
I've seen
But
that too. Yeah.
It has some good medicinal properties. And it's a beautiful flower, and it's a really tall plant with
Oh, is
lots
it-
of yellow flowers on
I
it.
thought they were short, so they're tall. Okay.
This one was tall, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. So the bees would probably like it,
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Yes, and I have a lot of areas that I want to convert to pollinator gardens. If you've been following along, oh, we have a little bit of a bad connection. If you've been following along, you know that I have the butterfly garden going on right now, and there are other spaces on. You guys are talking about how blurry we are. It's probably because of that sunlight right there. I'm going to pull that shade.
Yeah, it's the light behind us that's doing it.
It wasn't just our halos,
It's our aura.
our aura.
Our aura. Is that better? I think that's probably a little
A
better.
little better, yes.
Otherwise, we're just going to blame it on our aura.
We
Okay.
have a question. Sherry Sue Sos wants to know if you have any suggestions on making hard apple cider.
Well, what I make is apple hooch. I call it apple hooch. I don't know if it's actually cider or not. What I do is I go to the store and buy organic apple juice in the jug, 100% organic, with no additives, none of the vitamins or preservatives or anything like that. I sweeten it up with either brown sugar or white sugar until it's the right sweetness, and you can Google what's the right sweetness. Simply add yeast to it, and I let it ferment, and usually for a gallon, you're going to probably go 3 months. If you do a 5-gallon batch, it takes longer, and I usually end up doing the whole process for about 6 months. The only tip I have is use all organic and study on what the proper sweetness is, because yeast likes sugar, and it does its thing on sugar, but too much sugar, the yeast will not like, and it won't function properly. So you got to find that right level of sweetness. And one additional thing you might want to keep in mind too is that if you like your ciders drier, meaning not as sweet when they're all finished, then you're going to want to start with a less sweet liquid to begin with. A less sweet must, it's called. So if you want it to end up sweeter, start out with the maximum sweetness that your yeast can handle. And that's probably the only tips I have on that. I'm not an expert. Some of the stuff I produce turns out pretty good. Some doesn't. But,
I can vouch for, let's see, I've had your blueberry, your apple, and loquat. I think
you've had the honey.
honey, exactly. So those 4, there wasn't a one of them I didn't enjoy.
The honey. For whatever reason, you didn't
Oh, that's
like
right.
that one
I
as
did
well.
tell you that the honey one was. It wasn't that I didn't love it. I mean, it was palatable. It was pleasurable. It was just a little weird for me.
It was probably yeasty.
Yeah.
The yeastiness is one of the things I battle with, trying to get that out of it, out of the end product. And It has to do with when you rack it, and I haven't figured out the perfect timing on when to rack yet, so I'm still experimenting with that. Unfortunately, an experiment takes 6 months, so
Yeah.
it's a slow process.
Yeah, so every time you mess up, you got to go another 6 months to try to get it right.
Try a new batch, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've had a lot of successful batches, too.
I have.
I'm
In fact,
very
you're going
much
to like this one.
I'm very much looking forward to the pomegranate. He's been talking about this one on the Fanily Facebook group. If you don't know about that, my moderators will post a link. And it's a closed Facebook group where people who are interested in the same subjects that I share, the homesteading, gardening, things like that, we are joining together in a Fanily, Fanily, and sharing some of our passions, our projects through that group. And he has posted this with several pictures, and I've been very much looking forward to seeing it and tasting it in person.
I had one other bag of seeds for you. This is buckwheat.
Oh, sweet.
Now, this is buckwheat that I planted. I bought the seeds on Amazon, I planted them, and then I harvested these from the buckwheat that I planted.
Very cool.
Just so I could learn the process of how do you harvest buckwheat.
Yeah.
I'm sure I did not do it the most efficient way. This took a while. But buckwheat is very good, I've read, for bees. It makes a lot of tiny little flowers.
Oh, good.
It grows and matures in a real short time span, like about, I can't remember what it is. It's less than 30 days or 30 days maximum.
Oh, wow.
From planting to harvest. Yeah, and if you leave it there, it'll self-seed and drop all of its little buckwheats, and they'll grow up the next year too. And
Good.
And I've heard it's good for bees because of the flowers and the nectar that they produce.
Well, my bees are going to love you.
Yay. And the last gift I brought you was a replacement stash of Axio
Oh, good.
with some different flavors. I don't know if you had the sour cherry already.
I had only the red raspberry.
Red raspberry. Okay, so there's sour cherry and green grape in here.
Oh, good.
So you can see which of those you like.
Good.
And just real quick on the Axio, what this is an all-natural energy drink. It's nutrients, minerals, and what's called an NRF2 activator for the brain. It gives you the energy you need without the jitters, without the ups and the downs, and the side effects of basically death that you can get from those off-the-shelf monsters and things like that, if I can say the name. I don't know if I can mention it by name.
Those monstrous drinks.
Monstrous drinks.
Yeah.
Those monstrous things that can give you heart palpitations or whatnot. Axio does not. I'm a programmer by day. All of my work is mental. I have to solve problems in my head. So Axio helps me a lot in that because it gives me mental clarity, it gives me focus, and I like to joke around, turns me into a genius for 45 minutes. Then it fades away and I forget what genius felt like.
That's right.
But
You ever seen the show? Oh, I forget the name of the show. There was a show. It didn't last very long, but that a guy takes a pill. There was a movie made first, and then they made a show out of it, and it enhances his brain to where he's a
I
genius.
saw the movie, yeah.
Anyway, whatever that is, let me expand a little bit on that. For the last week, I have given up coffee. In fact, this morning, this is not coffee. I am drinking Axio. And the experiment that Doug asked me to conduct for myself was, what would it feel like for you to give up coffee for a week and have only the Axio as a replacement? And I will say that the first day, I hated you.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to well, you weren't my friend that first day because I thought,
man.
I really want the coffee, and this really didn't taste that great to me the first day because I think I just wanted coffee. And then the second day, I was like, oh, that didn't taste too bad. And third day was, I guess I can do this. Now, the fourth day was the day when I really felt like, okay, and I even sent him a message in Facebook Messenger. I was like, hey, Doug, I think something cool is happening. I feel like I can think more clearly. I have unexpected mental clarity today. And he was explaining, the product is made for the brain and all that. And so day 5, I was excited on day 5 to have my next dose of Axio because it really did. I wouldn't say it really gives you a lot of energy, but it definitely is a fair replacement to coffee. it allows you to continue, it gives you a little bit of energy, definitely a lot of mental energy, clarity. I have, and it's only been a week. I've only done this 7 days. And let me just say, it's a very noticeable difference after 4 days of drinking this. I don't know if it has to be by replacing coffee, but since that was my experiment, I will say that if you take coffee out and put this in, you will appreciate it in 4 days. Don't hate me like I did Doug for the first day.
You've had people ask if you got headaches and things from giving up the coffee.
I didn't. No headaches, nothing. I cold turkey, day 1, gave up coffee, drank the Axio. I will say I cheated a little bit on day 3 because I go sit with my dad on Wednesday mornings. My dad stays in the house. He has Parkinson's, and I choose to go on Wednesday mornings and hang out with him, and we share time having a little bit of coffee. So I had maybe 4 ounces of coffee that morning just so I could share that with my dad. And again, this morning, Saturday mornings, I have a routine of sharing a cup of coffee, sitting down with my wife. So I had, again, about 4 ounces. So I haven't had no coffee, but day 1, 2, no coffee. Day 3, a little bit. And then, again, this morning, just a little bit. So I did cheat. But mostly it was with the Axio, and it's been a good experiment. I don't know if I'm going to give up coffee forever. In fact, I'll just say right now I'm not going to give up coffee because I really enjoy coffee.
And I wouldn't ask you to. I don't give up coffee. I still drink coffee because it gives me pleasure. I like coffee.
Yeah.
And I use the Axio, though, specifically for the purpose it was intended, when I really need and want that mental clarity and focus, especially for my job. Or if I'm getting that midday blah where I just feel like I want to take a nap, but I can't. Axio. Mm-hmm. It just takes that edge off.
Very good. Did not intend for this to be an infomercial, but it is something that is in my life right now, and Doug shared that with me. By the way, just in case you're interested, Doug is a distributor for that, and you can display your information now if you like.
I'll give you about 2 seconds of my contact info.
And I have posted his.
And that is my phone number, and it's okay if you want to call me or text me.
Very good. Okay, moving on to, let's get into some of these subjects a little deeper. First of all, I'm going to scroll through and look at some of the questions because I haven't done that yet. So I'm just going to go back, see if there's anything in all caps, which would be the questions. Have coffee in the morning, then Axio the rest of the day. That is a good plan, Ronald. Probably just getting in the habit of drinking the Axio, I would drink a lot less coffee because sometimes I drink coffee not because of the pleasure, but it becomes habit, and I do feel like I want that little boost, and I just wouldn't need that. So let's see. Lori Lumax says buckwheat is said to attract the predator bugs that eat Colorado potato beetles. I would like to try. Anything that attracts predator bugs to eat the bad bugs, I am totally in favor of. So having a diverse garden, lots of area with things growing that give habitat and food to predator bugs is a very good thing. Let's see. Wheat tree bonsai. See, air, water, coffee, food, shelter for survival. Yep, that's Mr. Rain. Paul Otis, did you get any headaches? No. It really has been an easy week. And I'm telling you, the day that I experienced that gosh, everything just looks so much clearer. Not through my eyes, but just mentally. I could think better. I was daydreaming, but I love to daydream. And I was daydreaming better. It was just a good day. And the days after that. Let's see. All right. It looks like mostly you guys are hanging out with each other. So, Limitless. That's what it was.
Oh, that's the
Limitless.
movie. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That was
a good movie.
Verlinda Teague. The movie was pretty good. I mean, it was entertaining. And the series that you can watch on Netflix or wherever is entertaining as well. I just like the concept. Not people taking drugs, but the idea that he was able to solve problems in really fascinating ways, you know, because I like being a problem
Unlock
solver.
his brain's
Yeah,
potential.
unlock the brain's potential, exactly. Kind of like Underdog. He popped a little pill for his...
The super energy
That's
pill,
right.
yeah.
That's controversial, isn't it? All right. I'm going to go through... actually, I'm done because I didn't see a whole lot. You guys just carry on with each other and go back to the end of the comments here. And...
Valerie has been asking about the financial end of things, and I've asked her to put it in all caps for you.
Oh, the financial end of...
She didn't say what.
Oh,
things.
okay. Yeah, post those questions. Is it Valerie? Is that what you said?
Valerie.
Okay, yeah, post those questions.
Valeria.
We'll see what we can do to answer them. We don't know everything, but between the three of us, I'll bet we can come up with something that sounds good. Okay. Doug had an opportunity to share all of his goodies, and we're going to talk about those. But before he does, I want to show some of my goodies. I just have a couple things on the table. And one is this batch of fermented hot sauce is almost ready to turn into hot sauce, and I'm very excited about that. This is a blend of hot and sweet peppers, and it's been fermenting now for almost a month, and I am very excited because the last batch of hot sauce, I've made hot sauce 2 or 3 times already, and every time the flavor is just a little different, but it is so good. I love it. So I'm very excited about turning this into hot sauce. That's coming soon. I hear some chirps. Yeah,
May I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
What do you inoculate it with? How do you get it to begin fermenting?
Just nature.
It just happens?
It just happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's nothing. I take the pepper mash, pack it in real tight, and let nature do its thing. It's already there. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
How can you tell it's fermenting? Does it bubble?
Well, it's not spoiling. So
Okay.
that's a good sign.
I didn't know if maybe gas came
Sometimes,
out or-
yes, especially earlier on, there's bubbles that come up the sides. This is a one-way valve, so the CO2 can, or the oxygen can escape and CO2 as needed, but nothing gets back in. So it creates a CO2 environment inside, so nothing's going to spoil. That. See, typically you would put a weight on top and hold everything under the brine. I didn't do that with this batch, but because everything that's in there is CO2, nothing should spoil.
Okay.
And I'm going to interrupt my ferments just for a second because I hear some chirping. What do we have?
Just getting chick hatched this morning.
This is one that hatched this morning. Another silky baby. Ooh,
Wow.
that one's very pretty.
You keep expecting them to have the top knots even when they're just hatched.
Yeah, some of them do. Some
Do
of them
they?
do, yes. Can you get one that's vaulted to show how the heads... This one doesn't have the little vault on the head. Oh, you're sweet. Are you sweet or scared? I hope you're just sweet. This one's got a...
Clickbait.
Clickbait.
Chick click.
Yeah. This is a very silvery one. This one's going to be a very beautiful color. Okay. Oh, here's one that is vaulted. When on silkies,
Oh.
you can see the head. The skull on some of them actually is vaulted or has a dome in the skull. So if that is extreme, that's not very healthy for the chick. But if it's just a little vault, then that just increases the chance that they're going to have a really fluffy top hat. So here's an example of one that doesn't have a very tall vault or any vault at all, and then one that does.
So cute.
Oh, they're adorable.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, look at him stretch out his wings.
All right, you can take those. Mama Curbs has been, oh, by the way, yesterday, Mama Curbs referred to herself as Mama Curbs. I got her. So she's been breeding silky. She's trying to become a better silky owner and breeder so that we can have that breed here on the farm and become more known locally for the silkies. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Are they
Yeah.
just showbirds, or what do they use? Are they good for any
They're
egg layers? Or
they're good for joy.
Joy. Joy's
Yes.
good.
They provide joy.
Can't have too much of that, right?
No, seeing them out in the yard, fluffy and just hanging out, it's just a very joyful thing. All chickens are fun. Not always fun. Sometimes they destroy your garden. However, chickens are fun. Silkies are joyful. And Mama Kirbs loves them.
They are.
Okay.
So
That's what matters.
that's why we have them.
Therapy birds.
Therapy birds, yes.
And they do lay good eggs, although they're small.
Yes, they do lay eggs. In fact, they lay a lot of eggs, but they're just really small. And sometimes it's frustrating to cook with such small eggs because you have to crack open so many. It takes usually 2 silky eggs to equal 1 normal layer egg.
Okay.
All right, so the next prop that I have. Wow, we've been doing this for 30 minutes already.
Oh, also, you've had several questions about how the bee yard is doing.
Yes, the bee yard. I wrote that down. We're going to talk about the bee yard in just a minute. This is a batch, one of my first. I have 4 of these, and the first time that I've ever made sauerkraut with only the white or green, some people call it white cabbage, some people call it green cabbage. This is the first time that I've ever made it with just white or green cabbage. And I opened one up yesterday, and it is amazing. The texture is crunchy. It's not, I like sauerkraut, but I can't handle slimy kraut. If it's slimy, I don't care how good it tastes. I can't really stomach that. This is nice and crispy, and the flavor, it has that sort of pickly, sort of vinegary, but not overpowering. Really good batch of sauerkraut, so I'm excited about that. I will do a video someday about making sauerkraut, but the reason I haven't done it yet is because I really wanted to know that I knew what I was doing before I shared that in video. One of the things that I've learned over the 7 or 8 years that I've been doing videos on YouTube is that it doesn't turn out well for me to act like I know what I'm doing when I don't. You guys have caught me. You know it. So, the sauerkraut, I'm getting good at, and it is Liz Gore. We made a little joke between the two of us about my famous or almost famous sauerkraut. She works at a cute little cafe here in town, and she sells beautiful cookies for the cafe. And I said, well, I want to come down and sell my famous or almost famous sauerkraut. So that's a little joke there. So yes, I'm getting pretty good at the sauerkraut. And I mentioned that this was the first batch that I've ever done with white or green sauerkraut. So here's a batch, a bigger batch of my red sauerkraut. And I have a jar on top that's weighting it down on the inside. The red sauerkraut is absolutely yummy. In fact, here's the difference. The white sauerkraut tends to taste more like your traditional sauerkraut, sort of pickly and sour. The red sauerkraut tastes like candied cabbage. It's sweeter. And if you mix that in with a salad, a cold salad, like you mix your regular salad, put a little balsamic and throw in some of this red sauerkraut, it's like adding sugar to your salad. It's just is super, super tasty and extremely good for you. So I do hope to do a video soon-ish about the sauerkraut, but I wanted to show you what's going on with that right now, and I'm excited that it's actually turning out well. Now, for me, when an experiment fails, it doesn't take 6 months to turn that around.
So you know right away.
I know within
3 days.
a few days, right? Because if it gets moldy, it's done. If it doesn't bubble, maybe it's not going to turn out. And within a couple weeks, I can taste it and know. All right, those are my props. I wanted to get a little more specific about I was very interested. What's going on, Kate?
They were asking for a website for Doug, so I'm going to repost his Gmail and that information.
Okay, and Doug does have a YouTube channel. There's not a lot of videos there yet, but one of the exciting things is that Doug and I have been talking. I've been planting a lot of seeds in his brain about doing videos because he has so much to offer. Same thing. I've been telling Kate for a very long time, you have so much to offer. The truth is, so do you. all of you have so much to offer, and if you can share that either in a group like the family group or your own YouTube channel, sharing your content will reach people. Even if it doesn't turn into a business and have a whole lot of views and whatever, that's okay. If you reach a few people and you teach somebody else how to be more self-prepared or healthy or whatever your passion is, if you can teach someone else to live a better life, then you're doing a good thing. So Doug is going to start doing some videos.
I will.
And yes, he will. He, right there, you said it. And one of the videos that he has already put up is about the colloidal silver. It was a very informative video. He shared how he makes it and talked about some of the benefits. And he put that initially on Facebook, and I asked him to upload that to YouTube, and he did. So, do you have a YouTube channel name?
Yes, Biohacker Pro is where the colloidal silver video is currently living.
Spell that and I'll put it on here.
Yeah, Biohack.
B
B-I-O, I'm sorry.
H-A-C-K-S.
H-A-C-K-E-R.
Hang on. My thing is going crazy now. H-A-C-K-E-R.
His shirt says Biohack.
Biohacker Pro is the YouTube channel.
Biohacker Pro at YouTube.
You know, I don't know the exact URL. I think if you go to YouTube and search for Biohacker Pro,
Yep.
you'll probably find it.
Search YouTube for this, and WeTree found it,
Oh, thank you.
and Kate's looking for it as well. Check Doug's channel out. He'll be doing a lot of things on YouTube to turn the channel into something a little more robust, and I'm going to give him a little advice behind the scenes to help him do that. But he started out, he's got a number of videos that talk about the Axio and Life Vantage.
Well, yeah, the videos I have on there mostly were, I thought I would chronicle my journey as I attempt to change careers. So that's what those are about. And I will continue doing those as I learn things in my career change.
There you go.
So,
Well, that's a
but
good...
I will also include videos on other stuff I know. And, you know, since the internet started, I loved it because the philosophy of the internet is share what you know.
Yep.
And everybody knows something that we all need to know too. Share it.
That's right.
Just share it. And don't worry about if you look professional or if your hair was right. It doesn't matter. The knowledge is what matters. And I want to know what you know. And other people want to know what I know. So let's share it.
Yeah.
WeTree Bonsai, one of our moderators, was your 7th subscriber.
Oh, yeah?
She just put that up.
Awesome.
All right.
You know, I went and searched for your name, and you have a channel up there with your name, and I
do.
became your one and only subscriber.
I actually have 2 channels with my name. I don't know how I did that. I don't understand YouTube well enough, I guess. One of them has a lot of random videos. One of them has nothing hardly. So,
Well, I am your only subscriber on one of those 2, and I'm not actually sure if I subscribe to the Biohacker, so WeTree Bonsai may have beat me to that. But I do intend to subscribe to everything you do because I'm excited about the things that you share. I think you do a lot of really cool stuff.
and I appreciate your motivational tips and things like that too, because, you know, it helps. It helps to learn it from someone who's experienced like you are.
Yeah, well, gosh. I do have a lot of experience doing YouTube. I only wish I had more experience being really, really successful at YouTube. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. WeTree Bonsai, thank you very, very much for sharing the link. Actually, not the link, but my email address. If you're interested in a Daddykirbs hat, you can contact me and we'll see about making that happen. I need to make another order because my last 2 hats recently went to a friend of mine. So I was hoping to have one here for Doug this morning so he could sit because Kate's got hers. I got mine, but I didn't have one for Doug. Sorry, Doug.
My bad. I should have bought one ahead of time anyway.
But yes, contact me, daddykirbs@gmail.com if you want to inquire about a hat. They are for sale. It'll be the price that I've been doing lately is $20 plus shipping. So we'll see if we can. I'm still working out how to sell the hats, but if you contact me, we'll make it work. Also, if you would like, you can contact me through daddykirbs.com/contact. You can just go to daddykirbs.com and check that out. The blog itself sits kind of stale, but you can use the contact form on there to send me questions and comments. Okay, colloidal silver. We were talking about that. I want to know, you don't have to go on and on, but what are a few bullet points for why you make colloidal silver?
Excellent question. The primary reason is it's easy to make, and it is one of nature's most potent antibiotics. It also costs very, very little to make. Let me just tell you real quick about an experiment I did to prove to myself that it worked. A couple of years ago, I poured 2 small glasses of milk. It was July in San Antonio. In one of those glasses of milk, I put a teaspoon of colloidal silver that I had made and stirred it up. The other one, I did nothing. I put them both in the garage for a week.
Ooh.
After a week, the one with the colloidal silver still looked drinkable. I did not try to drink it, but it looked good. The other one looked like cheese or butter or something, had stuff growing all over it.
Wow.
So I know that it works, and that's the main reason for colloidal silver. You can use it topically as an antibiotic, and you can take it internally. You can't overdose on it. So I guess anytime you think you need an antibiotic or you have a wound you want to cleanse or something, colloidal silver is perfect for that.
Wow, that's very cool. And one of the reasons that I sent Doug a message this week asking, what can I do to get you to give me some colloidal silver? And we made a little deal. I didn't fulfill the deal because Luke went to the hospital, but I am going to fulfill my end of the bargain, but he brought this anyway. The reason we wanted this was there are a lot of times that our animals get wounds or get sick, and we don't want to go to the feed store and buy a bunch of antibiotics and inject them with needles and stuff, when we could just give them something very natural like this, especially the chickens. Like I mentioned, Mama Kirbs is very interesting. I'm starting to like calling her Mama Kirbs. That's kind of fun. She is very interested in becoming the silky lady for this area, and she wants to treat her silkies with all of the best, most natural stuff. So she was reading about colloidal silver in treating some of the infections that chickens tend to get. Not always, but when they get them, you have to have a way to treat them. So that was why I wanted this. And thank you very much for the gift, by the way.
You're very welcome.
Uh-oh, your screen
Mine
is
is
frozen.
frozen.
Uh-oh. Nope. Oh, there's Øystein jumped in with the super chat. Looks like Ronald reminded everyone, and Øystein jumped in with his 100 kroner or NOK from Norway. Thank you very much, buddy, for that. Thank you for being one of the best supporters. All of you are the best, but Øystein's the best. One of the best. You're all the best.
The best of the best.
The best of the best. Thank you for being a good friend and helping continue the efforts here on the Daddykirbs farm. And, hey, by the way, Øystein was in the part 2 of the Butterfly Garden video. If you watch that, at some point, you see him walking around in the background, because that was filmed when they were visiting, when my Norwegian family was visiting. And there's a little clip in the middle of the video that he was in the background of the video. So that's really cool. Everyone should watch that over and over and over. Just kidding. And then share in the comments of that video that, hey, I saw Øystein. And let's see, Wheatree Bonsai's or not Wheatree Bonsai, I'm sorry. Xavier's asking about the bees, so I will give you an update on the bees. The bee yard is still sort of sitting where you last saw it at the end of the last video that I made about that, because I haven't moved the bees yet. Yesterday, I was out at the bee yard and preparing some of the hives to be moved. And all of the hives look great. And yeah, let's play a game. Where's Øystein? The bees look great. So right now I have 3 hives. Technically, they're hives 3, 4, and 6. So the first hive, number 3, is the one that was a swarm and I captured, and it's in a smaller hive. They look fantastic. Everyone's kind of slowed down. You know, it's the winter time, so there's not a lot of activity. It's not really winter yet, but there's not a lot of activity. But they are still bringing in pollen. I was very excited to see that they're still bringing in pollen. I got into hive 3 and 4. The bees look fantastic. There's no hive beetles at this time of year, so they're a little less stressed. They were not at all aggressive. I didn't get into hive number 6, and there's a very special reason for that. Mama Kerbs had the camera, and she asked me not to open that hive. That one's the aggressive one. She said, "Do we really need to?" And so, yeah. But I did see them coming and going, and hive 6 has always been really strong, so I think that they're probably just fine. And the Weekend Homestead joined. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Kate won this round. Stay tuned for next week. You guys are funny. Mama Kerbs rules the roost. That's not a secret. That's the truth. Okay, one of the other subjects that you brought, your hooch, you already answered a couple of questions about that, but I was kind of curious if you had any additional thoughts for people who want to make beverages at home that's basically winemaking. If they have any questions, if you have questions for Doug about winemaking, post them and we'll see if we can stump him.
Post them in all caps,
Yeah,
please.
post them in all caps. So, hey, Candace, stopping by to say hi. Hi, glad you can make it this morning. So if you have questions about making the wine products, please ask. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for questions, do you have maybe 2 or 3 bullet points that you could share with that? You already sort of did, so I don't mean to make you repeat.
Well, the basic premise of winemaking, there's a general formula. The formula is start out with a sweet liquid that tastes very good to you. Because how it tastes to you at the beginning it directly correlates to how good it's going to taste to you at the end. And I learned this with my first batch. I made a batch of honey black grape. And at the beginning I tasted it and said, it's not that great, but I bet you it'll change. No, it did not change. So start out with some sweet liquid that tastes very good to you. Decide on a strain of yeast because there are many strains. Try to just pick one. That way you get to learn how it is, what it likes, how long it takes to do its thing. So pick one strain and make sure you use glass. Don't use plastic. It doesn't cost a lot of money to make wine. Just make sure you get the right stuff. You need a bubbler, you need glass, you need a sweet liquid, and you need a yeast strain that you plan on sticking with. Beyond that, Google, YouTube, and learn the process of racking. Racking is absolutely vital. I learned this the hard way as well. Learn what it is and how to do it, and do it a lot, and you will come up with a product that you're very pleased with and is good enough to gift.
Nice. Any questions about the winemaking process? Go ahead and post those. It's okay if you post them later. We'll come back to it. Actually, not too much later because we're 48 minutes in. It's been a good show.
Wow. It's going fast.
Yeah. Okay. Ronald has made wine.
Awesome.
And it
I have
tastes
too.
great. And yeah, Kate, it doesn't surprise me at all because every time I say something, Kate says, I've done that. That's why I say.
Mine wasn't nearly that fancy though. I took grape juice and put it in a jar with some yeast and put a rubber balloon on the top and stuck it on top of the fridge for a while. It was good wine,
the
but
general
I like
process.
robust wine. So
Yeah, nice. I've seen that process with the balloon online. I thought that was pretty cool. If you just have you just want to do a very basic batch,
red wine,
then that's a way to
it
go, I
works
guess.
well, and the wine was good.
Let's see here. Uh-oh, somebody's got the flu.
Lester says when you're ready to move the beehives, just contact him. He's ready to help.
Oh, okay, yes, thank you, Lester. I know that we've sent a few texts and emails. I will be ready very soon. And one of the questions that comes up related to moving the bees is, when are you getting that second horse? When is Teo coming home? And I've said this a lot. Soon. He's coming home soon. We have been in contact with the owner. Now, one of the reasons we didn't do it last week, like we said we might, is because the girl that grew up with Teo was home from college, and they didn't want to move Teo while she was home. That just was too traumatic for her, I guess. That's my understanding. So she's going back to college. If I got my story straight, this is all through Mama Curbs that she's sharing with me. And so now we're trying to figure out the timing. We have to get somebody that has a trailer. Either we're going to borrow a trailer or borrow someone's service to pull their own trailer. So whenever we get the logistics figured out and the bees moved, which should be really soon, Lester, I will be calling you or texting you and figuring out how we can make that happen. One of the ways that I might do that, Lester, is just that I'll go out and put the blocker boards on and secure the hives, wrap them up real good with the straps, and then have you come over in the late evening when it's dark. I'm sorry, I messed that up. I will do that when it's dark, and then the next day we can move them in the daylight because they'll be all blocked up. So I just need to make sure that they have ventilation, but no way to get in or out of the hives. Yeah, so that's really exciting. The bee yard really is looking very cool. It's very exciting to walk back and see that new space and know that the bees are going to be in there. It's going to be really good for me to work in there as a beekeeper because the space where they are now is sort of overgrown and, you know, a lot of trees and shrubs and things in the way, so it's a little frustrating to get in there. This new space is wide open, and it's going to be a lot of fun to work in there. While we're sitting here at 51 minutes, let me go ahead and do my little promotion of my Amazon shop. Go check out amazon.com/shop/Blake Kirby. That's a mouthful. You can start your shopping session with that. You can see some of the items that I've put in my little store. And if you don't care for any of those items, you can move on to continue your shopping. And anything that you purchase when you start your session with that link will give Daddykirbs Farm a few pennies on the dollar. And that just helps me, again, continue the creative efforts here on the farm. Whenever things like this break, this is my third camera. I've had microphones break. You know, things happen. I have the what do you call that, tripod that I use for this and also for the live shows. Just a lot of equipment is needed, and also things like hat purchases that I can share with people. Some of the hats have been given as gifts, and also some of them have been sold to turn those dollars into more dollars to help the creative efforts here on the farm. So thank you very much for anyone that is already using the Amazon link or doing the Super Chats or doing the Patreon. You are very much appreciated. It helps out so much. Did you have another subject that you wanted to share?
Well, I have many. How about I go through the list of some of my interests, and maybe you pick one out that you want me to elaborate on. All right, so here's what I've written down. I'm very much into family. I have 8 children, so I have to like kids. So I have 8 of them.
A cute son.
Yeah, well, my youngest is 7. Yeah, he's
He's
very
adorable.
cute. And I have 6 grandchildren, and that's growing. I'm a Christian. I'm into fermentation. I really love aquariums and tropical fish. I'm setting up a 75-gallon right now for my Amazon species that's going to go in there. Amazon. Oh. Outdoor sports, hunting, fishing, trapping. I'm into health and wellness, and I know and believe the human body is a machine that must be maintained if we want it to function at peak performance. Self-reliance, any skill I can learn, like making a fire without a match. Can you do that? You need to be able to do that. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but you need to be able to do it.
Kate can.
I bet so. Food preservation, canning, dehydration, smoking, salting, brine. Haven't done them all, but I've done some of them, and we should all be skilled at that to some degree. I love history, mostly ancient history. For whatever reason, it appeals to me more. Languages, I try to learn a little bit about as many as possible. I attempted to learn Norwegian recently. That was a no-go. It just didn't stick. I couldn't do it.
I learned a little.
Yeah, you know more than I do. I attempted it. I said it. I repeated it. It did not stay. Writing. I've written a book, but I wrote it anonymously, so I can't tell anyone what it is. So you'll never know. Science. I love science. Natural history. Everything about animals, science, the oceans, planets. Homesteading, of course. Permaculture, which I want to learn more about. In particular, I would love to learn about food forests. I've heard of them. I've watched videos about them. I can't really visualize how I would take my backyard and make one.
Right.
So I'd like to know about that. And electronics. That's what I have listed. There's probably more things. I'm a mixed bag of goods. But anything jumping out?
Well, permaculture jumps out for me. I do look forward to you learning more about that because it's just a really fun study. You know, it's very broad, very diverse. Permaculture isn't one thing. It's really everything. So it's really, I look forward to sharing that with you as you learn that moving forward.
I did make some berms and swales in my backyard, which
Nice.
my wife is finally getting used to.
Yeah.
So I learned that from here. I learned
Nice.
that from yours. The aquarium is my current topic. I guess it's still the one I'm trying to finish up right now. I made a nice background for it. Put some driftwood in there. Got an inline heater, which I've never used before. So I took as much out of the tank as I could and put it on the outside.
Nice. That's nice. A good clean tank.
So my fish are currently in a 40-gallon. They're overcrowded. They grew, and so they're really crowded. So
I'll have to take you up and show you. We've had a lot of really large aquariums on the Daddykirbs farm at different times, mostly because my son was into it. He no longer lives here, so we don't have that, but we do maintain one small saltwater aquarium. There are 2 clownfish that we've had for, we've had them for maybe 7 years, and even before that, somebody else had them for 3 or 4 years. So our clownfish are probably 10 years old.
wow,
Yeah, that's really cool. I'll show you. I'll take you upstairs and show
quite
you.
a lifespan. I didn't know they lived that long.
I have no idea how long they're supposed to live, but they're doing great right now. So that's a really cool topic. We are running into the hour mark, so we're not going to go on too far. But I would say that if you are interested in learning more about Doug and his adventures, check out his YouTube channel. And also, one of the places that would be nice for you to get to know him is in the Daddykirbs Facebook group. Can a clownfish laugh underwater? Oh, they would laugh at you, Mr. Ronald. They would laugh at you because you're a hoot.
Mr. Rain and I are going back and forth.
Yeah.
It's getting funny.
I can see that you guys are having a really cool conversation. I can't spend all my time reacting to that because I would just sit here and read it and laugh. But I would say that if you want to get to know Doug, join the Daddykirbs Family Facebook group, closed group. So we're trying to build that community where we can learn to trust each other and share the subjects where we can all encourage and inspire each other to live healthier, better lives. So join the group, get to know Doug. You are a moderator there, right?
I am, yes.
Yes, yeah,
actually.
I almost forgot.
Yeah.
Almost embarrassed myself.
Paul Otis says, thank you for the show, Doug.
You're very
nice.
welcome. It was my pleasure and privilege, actually.
So, yes, thank you. It's been a real pleasure. I have been wanting to do more with Doug. Ever since I met Doug, year, 2 years.
I was trying to
Been a while.
remember how we initially met, and I have no idea.
I don't remember.
I don't know. It was so
Somehow
long
we
ago.
met, and it's been a slow growing friendship because just we're separated by probably 20, 30 miles.
It's a 40-minute drive.
Yeah, and he has a lot of responsibilities with 8 kids. And one of the things that we do share in common is that we are both dads of special needs sons. So that's been a little bit of a connection. And so it's just been really fun getting to know you, and I'm excited that we got to do this together.
Me too.
And learning more about each other and our adventures and our subjects, our projects through the family group. I'm telling you, you got to join the family group because that is a nice place to learn community and learn friendships, online and in-person friendships. So if there are no more questions, Kate, have I missed anything?
Not really. I've been awfully busy making jokes with Mr. and Mrs. Rain.
I see some of those jokes coming through, and I'm resisting.
They're accusing me of being stable.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Told him I own no horses.
Kate is a great person to get to know. Once you get to know Kate, she is so full of knowledge and joy and fun, and she's truly helpful. A beautiful person. Thank you, Kate, for helping me out.
You've had a couple of questions to ask you to talk about Steam It a little bit.
I will talk about Steam It for just a moment. SteamIt.com is a sharing platform. It's like a social media type site where you can share your thoughts and your stories, your videos or your pictures or just text stories. It's a place to share, but one of the unique things about SteamIt.com is that you can earn through your post cryptocurrency. In this case, it's a Steam dollar, and that Steam dollar can be turned into Bitcoin or any other altcoin cryptocurrency, which then in turn can be turned into cash. So it's a little bit of a process, but you can earn real money sharing your life or your passions or fiction stories or whatever you want to share on SteamIt.com. If you do join SteamIt or if you are on SteamIt, please look me up. Follow my story as well, SteamIt.com/@Daddykirbs. And I would love to get to know you there as well. It truly is, it's in beta. It's not a perfect interface, but it is a really fun place to share your thoughts and your passions, your stories. And my SteamIt wallet, I have put $0, zero real money into the SteamIt platform, and my SteamIt wallet is now valued at roughly $1,800. And also, I have taken some of that Steam dollars out and turned it into Bitcoin. My Bitcoin wallet right now is valued over $500. It's a tiny, tiny slice of Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is going crazy in value. And also, I have converted, I've taken $300 out of Bitcoin and turned it into real money because we needed money here for some of the things that, just to continue our efforts here on the Daddykirbs farm. So 300 cash, 500 Bitcoin, and $1,800 in the Steam platform. And none of that started with any real money at all. Some people have said, well, Steam, it's just a scam. Well, it's a pretty good scam when you don't have to put any money in and you get money out. I'm all about those scams. So SteamIt.com/@Daddykirbs is where you'll find me. If you have questions about that, hit me up later, either through the family group or through SteamIt or wherever. And it's just kind of a fun, it's just fun. Sharing your story is fun. And if you can get a little something out of it, that just makes it more sustainable. And it's just reward, it's just kind of a fun thing. All right, we have gone over 1 hour. 1 hour and 3 minutes. It has been a blast. If there are no further questions or comments that I need to respond to or Doug needs to respond to, I'll give you about 30 seconds to hit me up with an additional question if you have it. If not, we're going to sign out. Mr. Biohacker Pro at YouTube. You really do need to check him out. The YouTube channel right now is not very robust.
It's in its infancy.
It's in its infancy.
Yes.
Soon we'll be a toddler and we'll grow up very fast after that. Great show as always, Blake. Have a great weekend. Kilted Gardener, thanks for being here. Mr. Rain, Sasha, it is truly a pleasure every week to hang out with you guys and get to know you a little better. I know I didn't focus very much on the comments today. My apologies, but I wanted to make the show as full as possible and to give Doug as much time to share his story, his passion. I probably took over too much.
No, not at all. It's your show. I'm a guest.
It is my show.
You gave me plenty of time. I appreciate it.
But I like your part. My show, his part, good stuff. And Kate, thank you very much for being the moderator.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.